Alright, so trying to explain the Akashic Records. I guess if you want to look at it from like a video game perspective, every game starts with the first 10 levels. I mean, if you're playing a PvP game, which is a person versus person games like World of Warcraft and stuff like that, Fortnite, all those games, Minecraft, right? So you're playing these games. The first several levels of the game, you're just learning how to play the game. Don't mind that. This is Paris Island Jets. I don't know if you guys can hear them. They're playing around today. But, so the first few levels are learning how to play the game. Alright? Then, once you get out of your training area, wherever you're learning, the initial program to teach you how to play the game, then you are to set out to seek to find other players to play with. You want to find other characters. This is going back to like Dungeons and Dragons. You got to be a dork to understand this stuff. Or Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all that, all those books and stuff like that. I mean, all those storylines all play out everywhere. That's why some of us are into, I guess, the intellectual side of magic with math and all of that, and the other side is the creative aspect of magic. And those are the people that know all the storylines, right? So the storylines usually go is you need to find a team. These are going to be people that have strengths where your weaknesses are, and you will have strengths where their weaknesses are. But as long as there's a group of you, then you guys balance each other out, and then you can play the game and win. That's how, like in World of Warcraft, how you would win a dungeon. You need someone who knows magic, you need someone who knows trapping, you need someone who's a tank character that, draws all the bad guys away so that other people can shoot the bad guys from far away, because everybody's got a different skill that they learned in their initial 10 levels or whatever. So you got some people who are playing on that level. Now, there's some people who are playing on that level. They're still in the game aspect of it. They're still concentrated on the avatar itself and building its individual skills. Like, when I played World of Warcraft, I was a gnome, and my skills were engineering. I was always trying to find a way to outsmart the program. So instead of having to find someone who would magic to revive someone if they died in my group, I engineered jumper cables, defibrillator to bring people back to life. But they only worked 50% of the time. Anyway, so you got that level of playing the game. And that's the part of the game where you have to go and you have to fill out all the side quests and stuff like that, and you can't beat certain levels until you do certain side quests, right? So now activating the Akashic Records. Now, when you activate those, you're playing the game on a different level. Instead of everybody playing at an individual computer in an individual house spread out all over the world, now you're playing in the same house with a group of teammates. So what you're able to do at this point is you can talk with these teammates that you're playing with, and the other players in the game don't know that you're all sitting in the same house. So you're running around and you're doing stuff and you're beating side quests, but you're still in the game and you're still playing the game. You're just playing it at a different level and accomplishing different things, even though you're still on the same team. Oh man, I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but that's kind of how I see it. And now, when you access the records, it's like accessing the storyline of the game so that you know what you're supposed to do in order to win to the next level. But when you're dealing with games like World of Warcraft and Fortnite and Halo or any of those PvP games where you're playing with people all over the world, you hit a point where the game never ends. They just keep adding expansion packs, and then you have to figure out the new storyline to the new expansion pack. So people who are into reading books and watching movies and getting into all that dorky stuff, the Marvel comics and all that crazy stuff, it's not so much that we're watching it for the entertainment purposes. I mean, some people are. Some people are really wrapped up into the 3D level of it, but some people are watching them because the creative minds that go into writing certain storylines and creating certain movies are all tapped into the Akashic Records. They're all downloading the storylines and they're playing them in a way to present to you so that you can figure out the storyline. So that's why I get really into books and novels and movies, especially if they have an historical trend to them. And I like them to be as, well, I like fantasy stuff, but I also like it to be realistic fantasy style. So, well, I don't know. I got really into Harry Potter and stuff like that too. It's the dynamic of the storyline and the buildup of the characters and how they become who they are. And if you're into storylines and reading books and stuff like that, you're not only into doing all that, you're into watching people. And when you're into watching people, you start seeing that the storylines you see everywhere else plays out among the population with certain characters as they, come online to different energies. But, yeah. And that, I think, is the best way as I can explain as to how I access the Akashic Records. When I access them, I'm accessing the old original packs that you've played, the original storyline, the original 10 levels, whatever, as the characters have developed. I know the backstory to the place, that, whatever, Stormwind, or if you watch Game of Thrones, they have on YouTube all the old ancient backstory stuff. That's the kind of stuff that you access when you access the Akashic Records. And then you can kind of access the future in a sense if you know basically what the storyline is. But the storyline still has to always play out a certain way in order for the game to keep running smoothly. You can't skip certain areas. You have to actually do all your little side quests and find all your items that you're supposed to find if you want to be able to move on to the next level. And if you want to play at the level where you're in the house with the rest of, when you get a group that you could actually play with, that you don't need to really talk to each other in the game anymore because you're in the same space. The objective is to help everybody else around you try to win the game with you, because not everybody's going to be able to join into, play in your house. Some people are just going to be teammates that are off to the side, and you cannot forget to keep talking to them and telling them what they need to do too, or else they'll get messed up. But I got somebody walking up, so I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later.